Ireland, baby, we did it. Yeah. Welcome along to Obviously Fight Talk, episode 52. This is the first in the new studio. I'm going to do the always. I am joined by Mr. Always Never Misses
Mr.
a
Reliable.
Show. Mr. Reliable. Hashtag One Job Rob. Robert Palin.
How's it going, man?
Mr. Crazy Big Daddy Carl Dorn is just off out of shot. And for you people looking on YouTube, this man sitting to the right is Mr. Aaron Boom Boom Browne. Aaron's joining us today. Thanks a million for coming in, man.
Nah, man, no
Happy
bleeding
to have
bother,
you.
lads. I'm delighted to be on, to be honest. Chuffed.
Aaron is taking on Martin Horgan in Cage Kings on the 18th of February.
Get it up.
He's looking to get back that 70 kg Cage King title. So let's dive straight into it, Aaron. There's no point. I'm not going to... We'll jump on some things. Before I do that, though, if you are watching on YouTube, subscribe now and don't miss any of our future videos. Don't forget to like and share this video with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, or any social media platform. Get the word out there, you know. As much as we look fancy... We don't have a penny. And in saying that, we then like to thank our sponsors. MMAmix.com for all your MMA needs. Check them out. They're obviously good because they're with Obviously Fight Talk. And then, of course, to Fightstore Ireland, the Fighter's Choice. Everything you need under one roof. Go check them out. They'll look after you. So, yeah, here we go. Aaron, let's give us a list of some titles first, though, Aaron. So you were the 70 Cage Kings champion, were the European K1 contender champion, the Irish K1 champion, and the WLF World champion. So let's go into it. You're fighting the godfather of Thai boxing in Ireland.
Jesus, Concrete Horgan, huh? me dad was the one to actually christen him the Concrete name, but that'll probably give you a little bit of an insight of how what he's like to face inside the ring. Yeah. But fair balls to him, man. I'm looking forward to it. To be honest, man, I'm looking forward to getting my belt back, man. That's what I want. Want to get that nice little belt, man, around my waist again.
It is in Cage Kings. You fought in the summer on the Cian Warrior show, and you got the victory there as well.
That was a brilliant one.
Martin said on short notice in a way for that fight. There was a pull out and he stepped in.
Yeah, he stepped in. Hopefully now this time around, man, it'll be an awful lot different. Like that's I'm waiting for it, man. Myself, to be honest, man, I feel as if I've came on leaps and bounds, man, in the last while. So I just really want to go and show that, man. A lot of the lads out of the gym and all, man, have been working with me. I just want to literally get onto the stage now and just let it flow, let it go, get the fun part done and over with now, like.
And training there, like at the weekend there at Thai Wars, you had Lee.
What a win!
A big win for Lee Coakley. As in Craig's the younger brother is well known to everybody. Many consider him the best at his weight class.
Best in Europe, I think, man. Personally, myself, man, he is an absolute freak, man. I've never seen anybody. It's supposed saying, lads, there's some serious amount of talent, man, coming out of Lionheart, man. At the minute, man, they are literally like as you can see last weekend. Sure, I don't think every single one of them won last weekend as well. You know what I mean? So fair play, man. Even little Noiler down there as well. Aga, man, there's some serious talent, man.
And was that the reason? Because you know, when you started off, you're sort of new in a way. Let's roll it back. You're sort of new to, you know, people. I've been MCing for 7-8 years, and you know, I'd seen you win a title. The next minute, everywhere they went was Aaron Browne. And like, for me, the one that stands out for me with you, Aaron, was when you fought in roller disco, the Ireland versus China. I always remember you coming out. You had the old grandfather hat on, the tricolour wrapped around you, and the crowd went absolutely berserk. It's an atmosphere. I was talking to somebody there, and they were saying to me, try to explain a Thai show and the atmosphere, and I said,
completely different.
Electricity.
Wires, man, it's through the roof. It is through the roof, and it's like not just me, like even my own fan base actually. Like the boys who like we have a big family, and everybody from everywhere, man, just seems to come out of the woodwork, man, for these fights, man. And honestly, I'm blessed with them, man, because it's great to see everyone there, man. And they give you the actual little bit of fucking the kick in the arse to get you up, to get you moving in the third round or maybe the fifth round when you need it. Like, and it's brilliant, man, to have that type of fan base behind you, man, the whole time. Same with the rest of the lads out there as well, man. Like, see the toy shows, man, are great. Yeah. Have to make even the one man the other night, man. I love the madness. I love the madness.
Why Thai boxing?
Oh, it actually wasn't. A mate of mine actually ended up getting me into it, man. It wasn't actually something that I don't. And then out of nowhere, man, I actually realised I was actually okay at this, man. And then just kept progressing, and I got my first fight. And then after I got my first fight, I was just like, right, had enough of this now, man. Just want to keep going.
More than saying, you had 14 amateur fights in 12 months or something.
Oh, Jesus, man. I was fighting, at one stage, man, I was fighting every week. Like, literally, it was crazy, man. It was a bit hectic, man, it was. But if you're able to do it, man, and that's the way to do it, especially when you're only fighting amateur, man, like, I think you should be doing it, like, in for everything that you can be as an amateur, like.
But that night with the China, that's what I was saying to you there just before we started, Carl. This is the fight that really threw you out there. Like, again, even for me, like, as in, I'd heard the name, but I hadn't really seen you. So when I was watching that night, I was blown away. The fight didn't start great. You got caught with like a flying knee.
Jesus,
and you looked out. I thought it was over. I was literally, when I'm sitting announcing the show and something happens, I'll turn to the timekeeper and go, "What's the time?" Because it looked like you were out.
Gone.
Yeah, and just like the Undertaker, you just pulled yourself out of the ground.
I'm a wrestling fan as well, so I'll take that one on the chill, man. I like that one.
But just talk us through that, because that, like, if you that knee looked like most people aren't getting up from that.
To be honest, I can remember hopping inside the ring. Like, that was a serious fight. Like, it was the first time I've ever really had a proper international, like, top level guy coming over to fight me, and went in, I hopped in, and everything was good going in towards it, and he was grand. But I swear to God, lads, the Chinese, man, I've never been hit harder before in my life. Honestly, the fucking fellas, man, nearly wanted to put me face, man, through out the other back of the side of my head, man. But really, man, I remember running at your man at the first. To be honest, I actually got caught cold because I was running after your man, and that was my style, man, for a while. That's our bleeding run, lose the head and run forward, and it got me caught. And it was actually literally that night, man, one of the nights I was like, nah, man, you can't be rushing forward like that anymore, man. That's crazy. But he bounced off the rope. He must have leapt about like a fucking frog, man. He leapt halfway across the ring, kneed me in the chin, and before I knew it, man, I was sitting on my arse, man, and I just remember the boys screaming in the corner for you to get up, and the crowd and all going ballistic, man. I got up, and it was literally the crowd, man, that drove me on, and that was it, really, man.
So that was a 10-8. And so then
straight away
10-8 round, you're in trouble, but you come back almost escalates to the way Bisbee came back against Andrew Silva. You nearly head and toe, like, you know, you looked out and you came back, but you got back and I went to the sudden round again. And this is, I've said it to you a few times, and I've always said it. Now, Jerry, Aaron's Browne, his father, just out of shot here, so I apologise for the crudeness. But I did turn around and say, your mop must be wrecked when you're finished with her, because you never stop when you're in the ring. Like,
Lauren, I love you. I love you now. Don't, none of this now when we get home. That wasn't me who said this.
But you never stop, like, and that fight was the embodiment of that, though. You just kept coming at, and I think the Chinese fella was sort of going, what the fuck do I have to do to put this fella out? And he ended up, it came back and went to decision, and you got the win in the end. So that was the one that really blew. To be honest,
man, I didn't think I was going to go and get it. The only thing that really won that fight, man, was just heart, man. Just literally heart, man, and digging down deep. It's either in you or else it's not in you. Like, that's what I totally believe, man. You get people, man, that kind of fade away and that kind of shy away and that kind of the madness and the yoke. I love it, man. I love the whole get up at the fight, man. I love the run up to the fight, man. I love getting it. I love the madness. I love the madness in the back of the dressing room with the lads. I think it's great, man. I love the whole lot of it. But it took me a while, man, to get that on me head, man, to calm me down a little bit as well, like, because it was just the excitement of the whole lot of it as well.
Talk to me about your style, though. Because your style is closing the constant pressure. You're always in front of your opponent. You're always putting them in pressure, getting them in the clinch, landing knees, landing elbows. As soon as the referee breaks it, the referee must be exhausted from trying to hold you back from the fighter on a break. Because as soon as fight comes back in, you're on top of them again. And that's for me, when I watch you fight, that's what I think wins you the majority of your fights. Is just that relentless. You're like pace, just your fitness and style of fighting. So just talk to us through that.
I'm always fit. Like, it's talking about styles at the minute, man. That's literally like one of the big things, man, that I've only actually realised since I've changed camp, man, over the last while. That style, man, is a major thing that I've been working on. Like, I have to give it to the lads, man, down there at the minute, man. Like Collie Manton, man, on the pads. Jesus Christ, man, I've never met somebody, man, to be able to pick out so much. Walk in, and within 5 minutes of me doing a combination, or not even 5 minutes, man, a couple of minutes, man, of me doing the combination. No, hold on, mate. If you threw it from this side, or maybe if you done it from an opposite angle, no, you won't get there. The fella can read inches, man, and I'm not even just saying that, man. I mean the whole lot of them down there. Craig, it's just. it's the science. It is the science of fighting, man. They have it down to a precision, man. And honestly, I thank God I'm at the falling on my feet, man, because I'm at the final home now over the last while, so I am chuffed, man. The lads are fucking great.
And talk to us about that. You were obviously with Tommy Aruchayo for a long time as well. And was that the reason, like Lionheart now, it's getting this reputation, you know what I mean? Like Keith Levins has come along as well.
There's a good few. There's a good lineup, all right, in the Lionheart now at the minute, man. Good few champions.
But what was that? What signaled the change? Was it just the fact that you seen the likes of Craig and Colley's coaching, or what triggered the change?
What actually ended up happening was for the Curra Legend show, for my own show that I actually ended up doing, I was actually down an awful lot, like down with the lads doing a bit of sparring, and eventually then for reasons, man, I'd rather not get into. Eventually, I ended up leaving Choyo and ended up staying away from it. But because the lads that were down there, they turned around and said to me, "Sure, you've no gym now and you're not doing much. So why don't you come on down here and keep training?" I was getting down for the classes anyway, so I said, "Yeah, 100%, man. I'd love to." Delighted that the lads took me on, Collie and Tony and jeez, man, Ishti as well. Sorry, just on that note, I just want to say thank. No, I just want to say to Ishti, man, just well done fighting over in Thailand the other night, man. First round knockout. Any of you lads see it?
Yeah.
My God, man, I'm delighted for you. And anyway, Ishti, fair play, man.
Right, so we're sort of rolling, we're jumping between, but let's no, it's grand. That's why we. That's what he does. That's the way we roll. I just bounce all over the shop. I'm gonna give Rob the nod to trigger and line something up to play. But when the name Aaron Browne gets mentioned, there's always a name that follows that, and when his name gets mentioned, your name always comes up. He's just appeared on our screen here, so I'm just going to play this, and I just want your first reaction, or just talk about it. So this is when we had Cian Cowley on the show back in our Radio Made days. So just like I said, just listen and give your reaction to it.
You know, that's a big question that people ask as well, though. You know, with you training out at SBG, is the Muay Thai gone? Are you focusing?
Not at all. Sure, I fucking run a gym. Like, I still train full-time Thai boxing in my gym. Like, when I'm teaching, I'm still training. Like, Thai boxing is not going at all. Like, I'm always going to be there no matter what happens. Just needed to take some time off fighting there because of the MMA, and I still do need to take some. But I will be, like, when the right opportunity, like, if who's underneath me in the rankings, Aaron is number 2. So maybe if he has another legit win or 2, then I'll go back and I'll defend the belts. And when I fight next time, I'm just going to put everything up and tell him to put everything up to make. Because if I lose to him, I will hang the gloves up because I know I won't. So that's what.
There you are, Aaron Browne. There's your get 1 or 2.
I said that already. That if the fight happens, I'll put everything. I'll put every belt that I have, the 4 Nations belt, the 2 Irish, the 3 Irish belts. I'll put it all up, and then he put his belts that he has up, and we just do winner takes all. Because I know for a fact that if I lose to him, I will retire. Like, genuinely will retire. So because I'm in this game fucking 12 years, he's in it 3 years. So
So there we go.
I tell you, lads, I'm impressed with the big screen. Very, very impressed.
First reaction, impressed with the screen. So what you make of that?
I actually find him, man. I think he's a gas man, to be honest. Like, because like, this fight happened. What? When was the?
Cage Kings was 2015, wasn't it? Was it 2015?
It was 2015. What's that going on now?
2015.
Yeah.
2 years. I literally, man.
I think it was in August. I could be wrong.
This was a while ago as well.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, that was we started in Radio Made, and that was one of our last shows in Radio Made. So that was probably summer last year. So the reason why we asked that, and obviously we're, when stuff like that, we're gonna stir the pot. Let's be honest. You know what I mean?
Boys, is the only way for it.
Like the reason why we're doing that is because, and it's genuine. Every time I heard Cian Cowley, I heard Aaron Browne, and when we were doing that, we had people from your camp and stuff saying they want a rematch. Cian won't give a rematch because he's afraid of Aaron, and so we were putting that to Cian. Now I know we're playing like a snippet there, but
full videos on YouTube.
Everywhere Cian went, he heard your name, and I'm sure everywhere you went. And the thing, lucky shot. That's what I put to Cian and said. Aaron's camper saying it was a lucky shot he caught you with. And Cian was like, wasn't me bother. Yeah, whatever the answer is. So what do you think with the is that something you'd be interested in now? As much as Cian now is MMA.
Right, just let me explain this from my camp. This fight has not went ahead from any back not from myself. Like I've 100% wanted this fight since the day that knockout did happen, right? And I throw my hands up 100%. Kane, fair play to you. You were the better man on the night, man. I throw my hands up. You won't hear me complain because I don't fucking cry over spilt milk. Forget about it. It's done 100%. But the day afterwards, I threw in my crest again, man, to get that fight. This is 2 years later on, and now I'm fighting Martin for the belt. So you was actually telling me what I can do, man, to do this. I've tried getting this belt up. If he wants to stick up the belts, man, I'll stick up every fucking belt. If that's what he wants, man. I love the war, man. I love to go. And I have the fucking best team behind me now in the country. So, boys, I have no problem in this, man. I really would like to get it down, but I'll tell you this, lads. It will not be happening on a takeover show or anywhere else. This will be happening on a Court of Legends show if it is happening 110%.
That's one thing he did say, wasn't it?
Yeah, he said it happened on a takeover. I think
definitely not.
What, is it going to be? Is it going to be in a ring with 10 ounces or is it in a cage with 6 ounces?
I don't know, lads. To be honest, I'd love to do the whole. I'd actually like to go back in towards the cage, man, again as well. But even at this time around with this 70 kg belt, man, we walk around at 70 kg, lads. This is what a lot of people's man.
Like myself, yeah.
Hurry up, you puff! Get out of it.
That's me right leg.
But we walk around, man, at 70 kilos. Like after this fight, man, after I get this belt back, this is the only belt that Kane is the only lost man that I actually have, man, underneath my belt. And what's that now? 2 years. I haven't been beaten in 2 years, like. So really, man, the way that I'm looking at it now is that it's old news. All this and the videos and all that, man. This is old news, man. If I wanted to fight, and if he really did want to fucking fight, he would have said, "Yeah, no problem. Let's go. Let's get this done. You know where I am. This is the God honest truth, lads. Look, I'm here. I'm still getting belts. I'm still here to fight any day. Let's go. Let's get this show on the road, man. Let's get the show moving. Let's go."
Was it ever close or anything? Or
Everyone seems to forget, man. I won the fucking first round. Like everyone only gets to see the knockout video, which only lasts for 20 or 30 seconds, man. I was winning everything up till that, like, and that's it is a big go. Like it's hard to take on the heart, man, when you have stuff like that. But you take it on the chin, you get over it. I've looked for me rematch, man, and I don't know. I haven't like Kane. Had one fight. Before, like, since that.
Well, he's in MMA now.
Do you know what I mean?
He's
I don't know.
the IMAFs. In fairness to Kane, he has moved across to SBG.
Yeah, but
he's out injured as well.
So look, he's in the MMA. He's not in the Thai boxing, man. And look, if he wants to, man, he knows which door to keep knocking on. Because by God, man, I have an army, and he is an army. Bring it down and let's get it on, man. Yeah, 100%.
Well, I think that's sort of that's the nice. 100%. It's a fight that the Thai, me being greedy. Yeah, it's a fight I want to see.
It's a fight. It's a fight that everybody wants to see. I think every fan wants to see.
Come here now. I'm going to throw the spanner in the works and go, Conor, fly it here. Would you be interested in taking him on an MMA fight?
Oh, jeez. Now, I don't train. I've trained a little bit of MMA. Now, I say a small bit, man. I wouldn't call myself an MMA. Yeah, I mean, literally pigeon bit of MMA. Now, I'm a striker, man, by yoke, and I wouldn't say that unless I was training a while in it, man. I would not throw myself in there, because what them boys do, man, is a different story completely as well.
And is that something? I read an article there, I think it was in the Herald, was it? You done an article in the Herald?
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
And the interviewer, I have to forgive me, whoever wrote the piece, name escapes me there at the minute, but they'd asked you about MMA and said, would you be interested in it?
Lads, I actually really do like it. I think I love the whole lot of it, man. I really, really
Considering
do.
You're on an MMA podcast, that was a great answer. That was a great answer.
I love it. No, honestly, I do, man. I do. And I think, obviously, it is. It's gradual, isn't it? Like, you're obviously going to end up taking the step, and that's true, man. But I obviously have to start training a long while, boys, before I get a fight. Now, I think just getting to train it, lads, is a different story, you know.
Just say if you did train it, how long do you think? How many months,
lads,
years?
I'm not even going to put a number on it, boys, because that's like turning around and saying, yeah, man, no bother to me, I'll get through it, and this is exactly how it's gonna. I don't know, lads. I don't know how I take to it. I don't know.
Well, I think that's the right answer.
You don't jump in, lads. You know what I mean?
Two different sports.
Exactly, man. You can't.
It's like someone who's good at Gaelic, they're not going to be good at soccer. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. Martin Horgan, bring him back to Martin.
Woo!
Cage Kings. It's something in itself. Cage Kings. It's an entity.
It's a very, very special night, man.
Yeah, I love it.
Where dreams are made and broken, I think. What you think?
Yeah, and I just think like this is, you know, you're going into the cauldron here. You're fighting, like you said, the godfather of Thai boxing here in Ireland, and you're fighting him in his backyard with a full camp. You're going in there with a win over him, so that is an advantage. But do you think the fight, there's going to be any difference in the fight, the fact that you're going to be in the MMA-style gloves?
Yeah, fucking 100%. There are, like, honestly, people don't actually realise, man, how different the MMA gloves are like, honestly, man, you're getting hit with an MMA glove, man, it's a different. And a lot of people, I've heard people saying, it doesn't matter. Fuck, it's a major difference, man, on the chin, man, when you're getting caught with them, man. Completely different. Even the clinching wise, man, is completely different, because you're actually able to hold on to the person, man, and move with them. Or
what about the cage? How do you find the cage?
I like the cage, man. I really like the cage, man. I don't know, man. There's something a little bit about you and him, and as soon as that door is locked, man, that's the ending of it. Like, I don't know. I like it, man. I love it. Like the cage.
Right, so Martin's the fight. You win the 70 kg title. All things going according to you beat Martin. Yeah. What's next? What is the plan? The long road.
My plan is I'm actually planning on getting this belt back, and I'm dropping down, because I don't want to have any more fights, man, at 70 kilos. I'm not a 70 kilo fighter, and to be honest, man, the last couple of fights, man, I've took them just because I've had opportunities, or they'd have little bits on the end of them, and alright, a grand I'll dive on it. But I'm not a 70 kilo fighter. Is there
any dream fight out there? Someone you'd like to fight? Not necessarily a call out, but who would you like to fight?
I don't know, man. I've nobody really like on the list now at the minute, man. There's obviously a few, man. I want to get abroad, man, to be honest, man. That's where I'd like to go, man. Start fighting abroad again. I was over in China there, man, a little while ago, man, as well. I'd like to get back over there and.
What about Thailand? Thailand
man, it'd be just nice.
There, and James Heelan is fighting on that MX show as well.
Jesus, Clancy,
Sean Clancy,
Jesus Christ, man, a lot going on.
Did you see the rudeness of them elbows you put that man up with?
Did you see it? Did any of you see it? Oh my God, lads, it was terrible.
It was. Yeah,
only a shame.
Sean Clancy, you're an evil man.
Yeah, it's some run as well. Clancy at the minute.
I'm telling you, man, it's good going, like, isn't it? Like,
that's what the mad thing. And we were talking again just before we started recording. Jerry was saying, about the tight knit community here in the Thai scene here.
It's brilliant. It is brilliant.
For such a small little island, there's some talent. The likes of Ryan Sheen's on the card with you as well.
Yeah, there's loads. Jesus,
Donkey is off fighting for the world title.
Mark Casley, there's Donkey, Ryan Sheen. Who else? McCarthy, I think, is on it. Who else is there as well? But usually you always have the Cage Kings champ, Craig Coakley. Usually you would have had him on it.
Well, he's fighting in Cage Kings UK.
Cage Kings. I think he has the birth of his child, I think, coming up now in the next while. So that's the only reason why he's not on it. Yeah, congratulations, Craigo.
Come here, but 100%, Craig. I was just skipping by that. Next question.
Get off that question.
Come here, talk to us about the madness of the D1 Mafia.
Lads, what can I say? D1 Mafia is the fucking man. They are the craziest fuckers, man, I've ever met, man. But
understatement.
They are fucking brilliant, man. The whole lot of them, man, are honestly a solid fucking crew, man. And I mean, for like fighters wise, man, for even looking after their fighters, man, like how more or less how they've took me on, man, over the last while, and what they've done, and how we've set it out, man. Even like strength and conditioning wise. Actually, sorry boys, I just want to take a second. Want to give a shout out to
you working on Summers. You're worse than a plug.
Just give us 1 second. Sorry. Hold on, wait. I'm at the
look, I haven't taken about any plugs now.
You're out there.
Sponsor, go on.
Go on, you're not making me lose it.
It'll come back.
Go on. So we're talking about the madness of and the family sort of the community.
It is, man. Literally, man. It is a family down there, man. The lads are just literally like looking after us, man. The whole time and around it, man. And just it's everybody. It's not just a one man army. Like you see that an awful lot in like camps, man. You might get a fighter like Craig, for example. Like it's not just all about Craig, and Craig would be easily, man, the best fighter in Europe. I think hands down. Like he's an absolute. Man, he's a freak, man, and that is the God honest truth. But it's not just down to one of us, lads, or it's all put into one person. It's everybody, man, is working towards the one thing, and that's just getting better. And it's all just about the gym and everybody else inside it, man.
Seeing that as well.
You can see it in them, lads. You can see it in the way, man, they carry on, man. Everything, man, is just about literally the family, man.
Fightstore done an interview with Lee after he won the title. That's the first thing he was saying. That was about the it's not me, it's everyone around me that helped me out in the lead up to the fight.
That's what it is, lads. Honestly, like it's like even now at the minute, man, the training partners and all that I have, man, is just like unbelievable, man. Honestly, it's down to them, man, inside the club, man, more than anywhere else. Before any of the show happens, man, inside the ring, man, all the hard work, man, is put in there, man. It's blood, sweat and tears, man. Times that you don't want to be there, man. You're crying that you don't want to be there. You're sick of getting kicked around, but you're still going in, man, just to get it done and over with.
So preparation for the fight. What's happening? Are you tempering off now, or are you still at a high level?
No, man, I'm still. Well, put it this way, man. I'm going back as soon as I finish up here, man. I'm going back to my third session now today. So fit and ready to go, Martin. I fucking hope so, baby. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to call the fight.
Neither can I, boys. Neither can I.
I love because you get into it when I do the boom boom to your face. You proper get into it. And I love that.
I love it, man.
I only love when a fighter reacts to me. Some fighters you're roaring and the man they stand there looking at you and you just sort of go, well,
the headlights are on, man. There's nobody home.
But every fighter is different. You know what I mean? Some fighters like with fist bump you. Some fighters just are staring through you. They don't even recognise you. They're just ready to go to war. But when you're in there, it's a party and you're celebrating. And then you turn into this Dominator battery fucking 250 or whatever, just forward.
RoboCop.
So look, Martin employs me, so I'm not going to say I hope you win. Best of luck in the fight. I hope it's see that, Martin. Yeah. But it's going to be a great fight again. Two of the best in the country going at it. If you haven't got your tickets for occasion, get down to Cork. It's only down the road. Now it's a fucker of a drive. They all think they are the rebel county and they are the proper capital.
A little bit hard to understand.
They're not as Dublin, but Cork just has this atmosphere. Martin Horgan, I'm convinced he went to Thailand at some stage in his life and bottled it and brought it home and opened it up in the Neptune. It's a special night, but it's fighters like you, Aaron, that make it special in the wars that you put on. For us,
it's for the fans. It's all for the fans. That's what it is.
You put on amazing performances, and we can only be grateful because I sit on the couch and I get to watch you do it, and I don't have to get
an awful lot easier than that, isn't it?
Much fucking easier.
Why have to start that up myself?
But look, listen, thanks a million for coming in to obviously Fight Talk. We will be there to watch you. Well, I will. The lads won't because they're scabs. But I keep telling them, get the Cage Kings. Yeah,
get us a ticket.
Get us a ticket, Martin. Two combos.
Martin,
2 tickets.
Get down here.
Yeah. 2 tickets and a lift.
2 tickets and a lift. But yeah, best of luck. When's the Curtis show? You're saying you're going to build it?
Curtis coming up again, man. We haven't actually literally sat down and gave the date yet, man. We've an awful lot just coming up in the pipeline, man. So literally, man, just stay tuned and just watch, man. I have to keep quiet about 1 or 2 things, but
hopefully we're friends on Facebook, so we will have to get in contact for MC work, but that's fine.
You know it.
I didn't do the first quarter. But yeah, again, thanks for taking the time. Best of luck, and oos the fuck, as Johnny Jitsu would say. Oh, welcome back to obviously Fight Talk episode 52. So that was Aaron Boom Boom Browne. I think you'll agree that was a great interview. Aaron, one hell of a character. He talks just as much as me, but great bloke. So we didn't actually give the rundown at the start, so we're going to do your obviously quick-fire news. We're going to recap UFC on Fox 23. We're going to talk about Conor McGregor making big headlines with his pay-per-view interview. We will have Liam from Fightstore Media on just to talk to us about the Carl Frampton Leo Santa Cruz fight. We'll have Dan Movahedi on speaking as referees corner, and this week we're sort of discussing referees' position and knowledge of certain moves and stuff like that. Yeah. And then we'll look ahead briefly to UFC Fight Night 104, Bermudez versus the Korean Zombie. So, get your minutes ready. Do we have the click clock? So this is your quick fire news, and unfortunately we're starting off on not a great note. Irish favourite Neil Seary has pulled out of his upcoming fight at UFC 208 due to the passing of his mother-in-law. As per his Facebook page, Neil said, "I pulled out of my fight in 2 weeks due to losing my mother-in-law today. Sorry to everyone who brought tickets, but family comes first." So first of all, we just like to say commiserations to the Seary family. In that way, it's sad to see Neil pull out of a fight. This is a fight that was looking to happen in London. Was it Belfast? Sorry, it was due to happen in Belfast
in November.
McCall fell ill. Yeah, and now this has happened. And of course, Neil Seary has said this would be his last fight. So I think this is a wait and see moment.
Yeah, condolences to the family. Sure, it's a very tough time, and family comes first. So it's hopefully everything is okay there, but it's a shame because of the fight, because it was a great fight. Ian McCall can't seem to get matched and can't seem to get a fight. I think it's like 4 or 5 pullouts now in his last 5 fights.
I think Ian McCall will understand that this.
100%. But like just saying, Ian McCall's been scheduled to fight so many times and just hasn't fell through, and it seems like it's just back. Like it was the one on the fight day where someone fell out, and so it's just unfortunate for him. But condolences to the whole family. Hopefully we'll see Neil in there sooner rather than later.
Yep, for sure. There's no need, I don't think, to continue that. It's more just a piece there. So CM Punk told Carlin Beth of at the Buzzer on Fox that he's hungry to get back in the octagon again and has been thrown names at Dana White. He claimed he will fight again, either in the UFC or outside the UFC. So Carl, we know you fell hook, line and sinker for the CM Punk fight the first time round. So what's your opinions on this?
So I assume CM Punk has more than a one fight contract with the UFC. Obviously, if that's the case.
Yeah. They always sign more than one fight anyway.
Yeah.
I think he had like a 6 or something.
I really don't care.
Yeah.
I have no interest in the fight whatsoever. We seen CM Punk come in, get destroyed by Mickey Gall. We all knew it was going to happen. I think everybody had said if you fight outside the UFC, go ahead, that's fine. You know, start at grassroots level. But yeah, I have no interest in it. I just don't.
He really does have no interest, doesn't he? Yeah. Even his effort in saying had no interest, had no interest.
For me, I don't. In the UFC, I don't think they should do it again. I think Dana White came out and said he doesn't want CM Punk to fight again in the UFC, but I could be wrong there. Outside the UFC, if he wants to take a fight against a 0-0 fighter or a 0-1 fighter, go ahead. I'll probably watch it just out of interest. Not completely interested in his career in MMA because I don't think he's going to get that far. He's old. But if he wants to do it for competitive reasons,
pick on the old guys.
For a fighter.
I'm old. I'm 70 kgs.
Yeah.
I'll be under the same boat, lads, being perfectly honest with you. You know, you got to commend him for what he tried to do and everything he done. You know what I mean? Like, he talked the talk and he fucking walked the walk. Right, fair enough, he threw a bigger overhand right than anyone's ever seen and got taken down and got beaten up. But look, he fucking done it. Do you know what I mean? CM Punk has fought in the UFC. I haven't fought in the UFC. You haven't fought in the UFC.
More than any of us.
Neither of you have. So, you know, you got to give him credit. Now, fair enough, he got to the UFC because who he is and what he is. Like, if I just decide to fight in the UFC, you know, I'm not going to get it, you know. Yeah. So he got it from his name and what he done in the sports entertainment. It's not sports entertainment.
But that's the thing, though. You don't train UFC, no.
Yeah, you don't train.
Don't train UFC. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I think people will buy it though. That's the thing. Amanda Nunes' odds of being double champ have got even bigger after Dana White told her, and this is a quote, pump the brakes. During his post-fight scrum at UFC on Fox 23, UFC president said, let's defend the title first. You know what I mean. Let her defend her title first. She hasn't defended her title. Everybody wants to jump around these days. We need to start pumping the brakes around here. Now, as Rob does have a soundbite of him saying that as well, I think Dana White just had a elder gentleman's moment there.
Yeah, I agree with his sentiments that, go ahead, defend your title, stay in the division. But obviously she did defend her title.
She defended her title
against Ronda Rousey. A lot of people are just thinking, Dana White, he was so traumatised by that Ronda Rousey loss that he's just blanking it from his memory, which is probably the case. But I do agree with Dana White, apart from that section where he was completely wrong, that she should stay in the division. She should defend their title,
especially given last night's result.
And they done the perfect thing. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but they had them square off in the cage. Defend your title in the division. But Dana White,
yeah, but look, in fairness, Dana White's a busy fucking man. Do you know what I mean? He's how many fighters are
one job.
He could forget these things. Do you know what I mean? And it's simple. Like, let's be honest. You know what I mean? These things happen. You know, you only have one job, and you made a bollocks of an interview. The interview that was lost forever. But no, look. Yeah, Amanda Nunes, I 100% agree with the sentiment. Everyone seems to be doing it now, jumping out of weight class. Bisping was trying to do it. Amanda Nunes is trying to do it. Conor McGregor has done it successfully, but you know, Conor McGregor said from day one he was going to do it when he came into the UFC. Yeah. So in that sense, there was the opportunity for history and stuff like that. Now it's almost to hold on to the belt or something. I don't know, but yeah, I'd like to see one point I have to make is with Ronda Rousey not there is the UFC need to build that division. Now Ronda could come back, but they need a start. They need their champion to be defending and to build the division up, so it gets more, not credit, but you know what I mean, more recognition. There's a long-standing champion at the top of the ladder, you know, so they need to do that.
20 seconds.
I can't say any more. You hit every point. It's true. Like there's no point in her going to another division right now. You need to build up your 135 women's division. Simple as. You can't let her go to another division. It cheapens your belt.
Done.
100%. March 18th, London return for the UFC finally has a main event. A light heavyweight showdown between Jimmy Manuwa and Corey Anderson. Tops the UFC Fight Night 107 lineup. What do we think of this main event? As apparently they were struggling to get a match for it.
Yeah, wasn't this on the card before they announced it as the main event? I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure they announced this as a fight. He said it wasn't going to be a main event, and then it turned out to be. So maybe it's the case where they couldn't get a different main event for the card, so they just said, "Alright, we'll put that as the main event." I don't think it's a main event personally.
Nope.
I think Jimmy Manuwa after that big win, his stock definitely went up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do in the division. But I just don't see this as a main event. He's a UK guy, so they can put him in there. I'm sure a lot of the UK fans will love to see him. But I think for me, sometimes you want a bit of the international flavour. Like, there's plenty of UK guys fighting in the UK right now. You kind of want somebody from America or someone from somewhere else to come over and headline. Obviously, you have Corey Anderson there, but Mano is the big name. Don't think it's a main event, but it is a good fight.
It's a good fight, but I think you're right. This is the result of putting on super cards. You know what I mean?
It's so many cards.
Yeah. It's the result of putting all your eggs in one basket is now, and now you've been saying this for a long time now, is basically weakened. Yeah. You know, any card you have gone forward because so many fighters are laid off because of it.
Well, like 2016, we were spoiled rotten. 2016 was the golden egg year for MMA fans, and it just shows like a lot of the, you know, you're starting to get titles matched like Woodley Thompson now again. A lot of champions weren't matched because they've all been active fairly recent. So yeah, look, listen, Jimmy Manuwa was they always on the European shows. They always try to have the sort of home fighter as the main, so you can understand that.
No,
like,
100%.
Like, it's a good fight. You know what I mean? It is a good fight. Like, you look at Jimmy Manuwa. I think last fight was against St. Peru, wasn't it? And John Jones went 5 rounds with St. Peru, couldn't get it done. Manuwa gets it done, and so it was inside one. He done it.
Yeah, if Manuwa wins this, he's right up there.
Manuwa's a fucking beast.
Yeah, he's a beast. I'm not saying anything about that. I just don't think it's a main event. But you know, it is a fight night card, so you know there is that.
Many people, casual fans, wouldn't know who Corey Anderson is.
Yeah.
That's a very valid point, right on the buzzer. I'll allow it! So as well, this weekend, away from the MMA world, we had a big title fight, and it was between Carl Frampton defending his title against Leo Santa Cruz. Now, for this piece, we are going to get in Fightstore Media's Liam. I'm struggling, Liam. You're going to kill me.
We'll check when he comes on. Yeah, give it a go.
McInerney.
I'll go with that.
That's what we're going with. Liam, it's McInerney. You're going to have to correct us if we're wrong. So, people who listen to the show and familiar. So welcome back to Obviously Fight Talk, and I'm delighted to say we are now joined by Fightstore Media's Liam McInerney. I did get it right. So Liam, welcome along to Obviously Fight Talk.
Thanks a lot, lads. Big fan of the show, so it's an honour to be on.
Brilliant.
What a start already.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, the interview can end right now, and you're welcome back anytime.
That's all we want.
So, yeah, we're an MMA podcast, but we are a combat sport podcast as well. We do like them. So, Carl Frampton took on Leo Santa Cruz. So, you being the boxing mind, Liam, talk us through. What did you think of the fight?
I thought it was a great fight. I think the matching of those two, for a start, is just brilliant for boxing. Yeah. Boxing's been going through a tough period the last few years. But with rivalries with such as, like, you know, Frampton, Santa Cruz, it brings a lot of attention to the sport. I can sort of remind it to Pacquiao, Marquez, Morales, Barrera to a lesser degree. But I think in the first round, I had worries for Frampton.
Yeah.
Everyone thought Santa Cruz was going to come and brawl. He normally throws, 100 punches around. Straight away, he used his longer reach, his jab. And for 2 rounds, Carl was sort of flustered by his tactics. And from then on, he was playing catch-up. And for a counter-puncher, that just doesn't work. So, tactically...
Sorry, go ahead. Go on.
Yeah, tactically, he got it spot on. So.
Yeah, that's what I was surprised. And again, like, I'll freely admit, as much as if there's a boxing match on, I will watch it. And I was talking to you, Liam, had Toy Wars as well. And I said, I'll watch it. But, you know, I'd watch the main event. I'm... If you like, the casual boxing fan that we always slaughter the casual MMA fans for. But, for me, it looked like I was expecting, from what I've seen before, especially the first fight as well, I was expecting the brawl, and I was expecting to come out just throwing hell for leather. That didn't happen. Like you said, he used the long reach, and it was, you could see Frampton was sort of caught in the headlights in that, wasn't he? He was more surprised by it, I think, than it took him out of his game.
It definitely did, and I think what was interesting after the fight, Leo Santa Cruz even apologised to his fans and said, "I'm sorry for this sort of reluctant performance." He normally just goes for it, but he has nothing to apologise for. I thought he got it spot on. I'm a huge Leo Santa Cruz fan, obviously a big Carl Frampton fan again, and look, we'll just have to get with trilogy now, and the best man will win then.
And what did you think of the score?
Yeah, one draw.
One scored at 114, didn't he?
I thought the draw was really poor.
Yeah.
It was close, but it was clear.
Yeah.
And, there's always going to be debate when it's close, but Leo Santa Cruz was a clear winner. No arguments for me, anyway.
And do you think that's what the difference was? The fact that Santa Cruz came out and was more boxing style and used his reach. Do you think that was what really won the fight? And the sort of, I've heard a couple of people criticise Frampton's corner in the cornering as well, just saying they weren't really giving him great direction in what to do. Again, me being a casual, I was probably taking a sup out of a pint of cider when the rounds were between. So I didn't really pay any attention to that. Was that something that stood out to you?
No, I didn't listen to too much of the corner, but I think Shane McGuigan is actually a phenomenal coach. If you just look at the transformation of George Groves, another one of his fighters, David Hay sort of on the comeback now, and the success he's had with Carl Frampton. I mean, in the first fight, they got it spun on, and no one predicted Leo Santa Cruz would come out and, the brawler outbox the boxer. But that's what happened. I'd have no complaints in terms of Shane McGuigan. I think they're a great partnership, and I mean, Carl Frampton, his legacy is already secured. In my eyes, he's already one of Ireland's greatest ever boxers. I think if he wins with trilogy, he will go down as Ireland's best ever boxer. I suppose comparing him to someone like Steve Collins. Steve Collins is a 2-weight world champion. Carl Frampton, 2-weight world champion. Before the fight, Carl was saying he wants to become a 3-weight world champion, and that's still achievable. He's 29, so look, it's one loss. He'll learn from it. He'll come back. But again, if they do have a third fight, I couldn't pick a winner.
Yeah, it's one loss, but a lot of people talk about boxing records, and a lot of people kind of compare it to MMA, whereas MMA you can get a loss, and in boxing if you get a loss it might hurt you an awful lot more than it would in MMA. Do you see that with Frampton? You said that it should be fine to come back, but do you see a possibility of someone looking at his records and this guy has a loss, he's not undefeated?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a big problem in boxing. People are very protective of their records. But I think for Carl Frampton, the fact he's beaten him before, and the fact Leo Santa Cruz is one of the best boxers in the world, if the best are fighting the best, losses shouldn't matter. So I think he'll be absolutely fine. If he loses again, where does he go from there? That's a tricky one. But, there's so many world titles in boxing that he wouldn't be short of challengers. I mean, you've got the likes of Lee Selby. I think Scott Quigg is on about coming up. So he's endless options.
Do you see anything else but the rematch or the trilogy?
Yeah, you'd have to have a rematch. Now, I think Carl wants it in Belfast. Whether that would happen, I highly doubt it. I don't
think the money's there for it.
Well, that's it. I mean, Carl was saying his fans have paid, thousands of euro, come over twice now. But obviously, Leo Santa Cruz holds all the cards. I just really hope it happens, and I'm sure it will. Leo Santa Cruz, straight after the fight, said, it's got to happen. I just think both are a real credit to the sport. Two really high-level competitors, and I think Leo Santa Cruz was wrongfully quite written off before the fight. A lot of people underestimated him, but he proved just what a top-class operator he is.
And another big fight coming up, just getting away from that a little bit, is Michael Conlan's pro debut. What's your thoughts on that? Conlan's getting a lot of attention, signed with a big promotion. What's your thoughts on his debut? Is it a good matchup for him? I don't know much about the guy he's fighting, but is it a good matchup for him?
Yeah, I'm sure I don't know much about his opponent. I'm sure they've matched him up well. And in terms of having your debut in Madison Square Garden, that is just unheard of. Such a disappointing summer for him, but to come back and to have such a debut. Credit to him. I really think he'll have a great career, especially under Top Rank as well. I think he'll be well managed, and I can see him becoming a world champion maybe in a couple of years, 2-3 years, definitely.
I agree. Like, as much as I watch the Olympics, because it's like when the boxing's on, you know, if the green fly was running up the wall, I cheered on. So when it's the Olympics, I always get behind the boxers. But something I want to bring it back to what you said as well for boxing. You know, boxing, as you said, it's sort of been down a little bit, and it's needed a lift with something. And you were saying with the match of Frampton and Santa Cruz, it was a dream in a way. I also think the fact that it's Ireland v Mexico, two countries who really get behind their athletes. You know, the Mexicans love the boxing, their boxing, and hail them as heroes in Mexico. And it's the same with us Irish here. We hail our competitors and fighters as well. So I think that also helps the boxing world that these two are from where they're from as well. Is that a fair point?
Absolutely. I think the atmosphere was meant to be incredible there. I think the Irish and Mexican fans were mixing. It's just huge. Those two countries, having two guys who are in the pound for pound best, I'd say. Probably both are in the top 10 pound for pound, which in boxing is a great achievement. I know a lot of these top levels don't fight each other, but you know, these two are really, really world class.
And one of the big news stories, and it's probably ridiculous to some people, and you know, it's kind of ridiculous that we have to keep bringing it up, but it's just constantly popping up, and I think you know what it is. Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match. Will it happen? Do you think it's ridiculous? And just your thoughts on that fight.
I actually don't think it's ridiculous. I know a lot of hardcore combat sports fans won't agree with me, but the likes of Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, they've worked so hard to get in the position they're in. Years and years of dedication. And for them to be able to make the sort of money that they would make, I think fair play to them. And another positive, the whole world's media is focusing on these two guys, these two sports. It's going to raise the profile. Now, my one concern would be if it's a boxing match, and if it's as one-sided as we think, what's that going to do to the reputation of the UFC?
Yeah.
But in terms of boxing, I think boxing's onto a winner there.
Yeah, my only point about it, and I've always said, is the different sports, the different like watching Conor. We're going to talk about that as well in a little bit as well. Conor's press conference when he was saying about, you know, it would be a year away or something, so he'd be going locking himself away for the year, and I'd imagine just focusing purely on boxing. But really, is a year long enough to take on probably one of the greatest boxers to ever live? 15
years isn't long enough. Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest defensive boxers of all time. He's fought some brilliant guys like Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton was in his prime then. Really tough guys like Marquez, Cotto, De La Hoya. You know, he's fought the best. No one's been able to get near him. Canelo Alvarez, another guy like Conor, he'd be much bigger than him. Could not land a glove. Floyd Mayweather's a special talent. I know he gets a lot of negative headlines. A lot of people would be bored watching his fights. I personally love watching them. It's called the sweet science for a reason. In terms of a fight with Conor, it's a mismatch, put it that way. But I think, who am I to say Conor McGregor shouldn't go for it? I mean, that amount of money for one night's work, fair play to him. He's got himself into this position. So, you know.
Here's an interesting one, and I don't think Floyd would ever agree to it, but a boxing match with MMA gloves.
I cannot see that happening ever. You know, why would Floyd take the risk? I know Floyd has a lot of trouble with his hands, is another thing. But I mean, think of the damage Floyd could do in 4-ounce gloves.
It's true.
He's a master boxer, his speed, his timing. So, in a way, that could even work against Conor in terms of, you know, if it was 4-ounce gloves, I could see Mayweather maybe stopping him, but at the same time, Conor's left hand, 4-ounce gloves.
Yeah, it completely changes the defensive way Floyd could fight.
Stop the press. Carl is going to ask a question in an interview.
Yeah, sorry, Liam. That's what I was going to say. Like, most likely it won't happen, the fight anyway,
Yeah.
and the fight with 4-ounce gloves most definitely won't happen. I think obviously Floyd's style is all around having the bigger gloves, so why would he drop to a...
Yeah. And Floyd, even though McGregor's a huge star, I still think Floyd is the one that would pick the stipulations. He's still the, especially in boxing, like he's still the bigger.
So I'm gonna be the fucker to do this. If Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor was matched, what's your prediction?
In boxing?
Yeah.
In boxing.
It'll be a 12-round fight, and I think Mayweather would win every single round. I'm a big Conor McGregor fan. But
no finish, just he'd outbox him and decision him?
Well, I think Mayweather would feel him out for a few rounds to see where he's at. But, I mean, Floyd Mayweather doesn't take risks. It doesn't matter who he's against. He didn't do it in his last fight against Andre Berto. He's not going to do it against Conor McGregor.
Yeah, and for the MMA fans and Noel and even me, I'm not a huge boxing fan. I watch a little bit, but what's some other big fights on the horizon in the boxing world coming up that maybe people aren't looking at and we probably should be watching?
A huge fight coming up is in the welterweight division. Keith Thurman against Danny Garcia. Now that's a really well matched fight. Two guys, I believe, are unbeaten. Thurman is a big puncher. Danny Garcia has a beautiful left hook. That's a big fight. In terms of the UK, you've got the Joshua Klitschko. I mean, I know boxing's under a lot of criticism recently, but I mean, 90,000 fans going to one fight, that's spectacular. So you've got that. You've got David Haye against Tony Bellew. Again, probably one-sided, but put it this way, I think boxing is going to be a better year for boxing this year than it was last year. Last year was really poor. There's talk of big fights being made. You've got Golovkin's fighting in Madison Square Garden against Daniel Jacobs. A good fight. Daniel Jacobs is a really good fighter. So yeah, there's a few good fights on the horizon.
Perfect. Liam, thanks a million for taking the time to come on to us. Give a shout out to where you can find you and all your ramblings on. So give us your handles there for all the articles and stuff you do.
Cool. You can find me on Twitter at _Liam McInerney, and all my articles up on Fightstore Media. So check them out.
I definitely say check them out. I believe there's a really good article in the pipeline there with some guy. I'm not too sure who he is, but some asshole, yeah. Well, look, listen, thanks a million for coming on, and Fightstore Media, the fighter's choice too, for all your fighter needs. Yeah. There we are. Listen, Liam, thanks a million for taking the time, you man, and tell Claire to get out of the background.
I will do. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, man. Take care.
Cheers.
So there you are. So for an MMA podcast, we have covered Muay Thai, we have covered boxing, and now we're going to cover MMA. So let's get Daniel Movahedi on. Dan is already texting us, giving out about time. So people, as you know, and we are back, and we're now joined, as you can see if you're watching via YouTube, by the beautiful gentleman himself, Mr. Daniel Movahedi.
Evening, gents.
What's crack, me man? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, looking good. You got a lot of growth back now. You don't look like a 12-year-old boy anymore.
Don't look like a 12-year-old boy. No, yeah. I don't. Thanks.
We're going to jump into it, Dan. We're going to recap UFC that went down at the weekend. There were some things that Dan got right. You had a pretty decent week at this one, Dan, didn't you? What did you go? Did you go 4-0? Oh, no,
I did.
What you do?
I didn't.
Oh.
Cerrone.
Yeah, 3-1. So that wasn't bad. So the person I don't like, and I don't know why, but I just don't like him, got beaten by Jason Knight. The person I don't like, who I will not name. Jason Knight, rear naked choke.
Yeah, it was a really, really good fight. Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres didn't look bad in the fight, but Jason Knight, he came out looking really, really good, and I think he's somebody that people are going to be looking at because he's kind of a mix between, like, he's like a Diaz, but like from the south. So he'll stick his fingers up at you and he'll flip the board and he'll dig you around, basically.
Talk mad shit.
Yeah. But he's very, very entertaining. He called out somebody after the fight, I believe. Oh no, he didn't. He said he didn't call out somebody, but he was very outspoken. But it was a very, very good performance, and I think that a lot of people are going to be looking at this guy because has a good record.
Yep.
Beat a decent guy. Good performance. Yeah.
And Noel's happy.
And Noel's happy, yeah. I kicked something.
All right. Carl, what were your thoughts on your man crush, Alex Caceres, Bruce fucking Leroy getting tapped? Like a bitch.
It doesn't, like, Bruce Leroy, he's always one of them fighters that, you know, he's just always exciting.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that I watch his fights is because they are entertaining.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm heartbroken that he lost or whatever. Like, I know going into a Bruce Leroy fight that's always a possibility, especially with him because he's all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Do I feel bad for him that he lost? Yeah, because I think that he's a decent talent. He's young, he has a look, and he could go far, but he's all too willing to put himself into dangerous situations.
To be honest, his striking actually looked really good in this fight, I thought. A lot better than he usually does. He started using straight punches, didn't get hit as much. Jason Knight was just a better fighter on the night.
Yeah.
And,
I have to apologise to anyone watching me on watching on YouTube. I'm doing nothing but typing and texting people.
Yeah, I was looking at you out of the corner.
It's all show related now. If that's any good, it's all show related. And then my pick for this year to be the big huge standout this year, Andrei Arlovsky, AA. He was like American Airlines. He went flying through the air. Francis, I just thought of that. That was brilliant, wasn't it?
That was brilliant.
Francis Ngannou with an absolutely pulverising knockout that I predicted within the first round, so I think I get double points for that fight. But yeah, we spoke about it beforehand. Arlovsky, he's on the slide. He's his chin is being questioned, and you don't want your chin to be questioned when you're fighting Francis Ngannou.
No,
was it 0-4 in his last 4 fights?
I think so. Yeah, and a couple. I think all knockouts, maybe. Yeah. Francis Ngannou is an absolute nightmare. He's huge. He has very, very good striking. His takedown offense looks pretty good. I don't see any holds. Obviously, he hasn't gone a full 3 rounds, I don't believe. But I don't see anything that you should be worried about if you're a Francis Ngannou fan. He looks really, really good, and he's definitely going to be a contender in the division. I'd like to see him going against somebody like a Cain Velasquez or something.
Well, that's if Cain can stay injury
free.
I mean, he's definitely now Arlovsky's like the gatekeeper. You know, it's unfair maybe, but I could see if Travis Browne wins his next fight, Travis Browne maybe. Someone
like Cain Velasquez who can test him in different positions, who can maybe try take him down, shoot for takedowns, that kind of stuff. Whereas you have a lot of guys who's fighting him, like Andrei Arlovsky just wanted to strike with him, or that's what he was forced to do, and you can see what happened. He got knocked into the air.
Yeah, but Francis is such a unit.
Yeah,
I don't think even if Andre tried to take it to the ground, he would have.
Yeah,
you know? And Francis, for a heavyweight, I mean, even leading up to, you saw the program build up to the fight, when he's hitting the pads and he's doing his sparring, he's got such a speed for a heavyweight. And like you said, I would like to see him against Cain or even Junior Dos Santos, someone like that who let go of their hands and they're still sharp, they're still quick.
That'd be interesting. Junior and Miocic are in the works though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan, just as you're saying.
So I was going to say that Francis, the punch they caught Arlovsky with, I think Brian Stan commented on it. That looked effortless as well.
Yeah.
He didn't even pivot, didn't even turn his hips into it. It's just like smack, and next thing you know, like Noel just said, American Airlines. He was flying on to the other side of the cage.
I'm having an absolute brain fart. Has Alistair Overeem and Mark Hunt fought yet?
Have they fought yet? No.
So I'd say give him the winner of that.
Yeah. Especially, I think someone like Mark Hunt, who's very durable and who can stay in there for a couple of rounds, and we can see what his cardio looks like. Obviously, Mark Hunt doesn't have the best cardio in the world. It's not. I don't think it's bad for.
It's not bad, no.
But it's a guy who can take a shot. Now, can anybody take a Francis Ngannou shot? We don't know yet. But somebody who we think can take a shot and can push him a couple of rounds, because that's what we need to see. We need to see him 2-3 rounds in, see what he looks like then.
But he could also just what's the movie, the golf film, fucking
Happy Gilmore.
Just put the ball in the hole, and in his case, just finish people in the first round.
Why don't they just put the ball in the hole?
Just tap it in.
That's it.
Tap-a-roo.
We're bringing back fixed game.
Tap.
But yeah, that's it. That's all he has to do is just finish people in the first round. Simple. That's your game plan.
Tap. Come-in event. This is where Robert will get a wry smile. Robert predicted that if there was a finish, Jorge Masvidal.
I won't take too much credit, but
see, I said Jorge. I didn't say George.
Yeah. No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, but I did last week and he's all laughed at me. Yeah. So Jorge Masvidal finishes Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Yeah. Huge performance. Pin in the idea that should have been stopped at the end of the first round.
We'll talk about that a little bit in a while.
A
little bit later. But it was Jorge Masvidal's best performance in the UFC by far. Yeah. Possibly his best performance of his career.
Yeah, well, Cowboy's ranked at 5 and he was 14th at the time.
And he's on a tear. And he just took him out, just took Donald Cerrone out. We see this a lot of time with Donald Cerrone. When he gets beaten pretty badly, like in the first round. He does get finished.
I was reading something that Masvidal said he psyched him out backstage. Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah, I didn't read into it, but
didn't see it. No, anyway,
you'll edit that point out.
Yeah.
Go on, Dan. What were you saying?
I was going to say, I know Cerrone lost, but he didn't look terrible.
No. He looked good in early in the first.
Yes, and obviously we know what happened in the end of the first round, and obviously going into the second round. Personally, I thought Cerrone's hands were dropping a little bit when he was counter striking.
He was flustered.
When he was throwing his shots, and he was throwing beautiful leg kicks. I mean, you saw the result of it on Masvidal's leg and thigh. But yeah, I just thought that he was just leaving his chin up a little bit, and he was getting beaten to the punch, especially with Masvidal's jabs.
Yeah, Masvidal, he absolutely, he fought like he had a chip on his shoulder. He fought like
it's some rise of Masvidal to go from fighting in Dada 5000's garden to fucking, do you know what I mean? It's what he did.
But that's where he came from, That's where
it couldn't be any more sweeter for him to beat Cerrone and just to
do it in Denver.
You know,
and the crowd booed, man. I know, but but like the crowd were booing all fucking night.
Yeah, all night you are.
I just loved it when Brian Stan went, look at his great sportsmanship, and you could clearly tell Masvidal was said something to Cerrone, but it wasn't like, hey man, great fight. It was like something along the lines of, hey, I told you, motherfucker. Something like that, you know.
Yeah, I'm christening it now, and it's kind of bad, but that fighter that nearly gets to the top, I'm gonna start calling the Cerrone syndrome, because that's where it looks like. You know, it's just like every time he nearly gets there, he loses.
In fairness to Cerrone, though, right? No, but I'm just saying, in fairness to Cerrone, he's so fucking active. If he was less active, he probably would have got the ladder quicker. Do you know what I mean? He might have made it to the top quicker. In that sense,
one of the things I hate as well, especially like with a contender, like Cerrone's a contender. He's fought for the title a couple of times. We've got it in the WEC. But I hate when a fighter just doesn't win the title. He's not the best in the world, and people are like, he's a bad fighter. No, he's like the second or third best fighter in the world. No, but it's said about a lot of fighters. Like Donald Cerrone, if he loses one more or two more, people be like, he was never that good. He never won the title in the UFC. He wasn't that good. He beat some okay guys, but he was never that good. Donald Cerrone is a beast of a fighter. He's an absolute beast.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Did anybody watch the Fight Companion that was on yesterday?
No.
Brendan Shaw brought up a very good point.
Our mate was on that, wasn't he?
Robin Black.
Yeah. Robin Black, yeah.
Best friend.
Friend of the show.
Hey, friend. Brendan Shaw actually brought up a very good point. He was like, Cerrone, it looks like at this point he's going to go down as that person in history as he was the most game fighter that there ever was. He's fought everybody, absolutely everybody, but he'll never be known as a world champion. And to him, being the world champion's the most important thing. But he's going to be remembered as the game guy. That's it. Like.
It could happen. Like, just quickly going back to your point, Rob, saying about people saying, "Oh, he'll never be the best because he didn't have a title shot, or he was just that nearly guy." But the same could be said about Bisping. An opportunity come up, and
Absolutely.
he took it, and he ended up being the world champion.
Yeah, and
somewhere down the line, the same thing could happen to Cerrone.
And Cerrone's the type of guy. Yeah. Exactly. He's the type of guy who, if somebody does pull out, he's going to throw his name in the hat anyway, so you never know.
It's the king of pullouts.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's move on to the main event. Valentina Shevchenko taking on Juliana Pena. Rob did say, I can understand if somebody predicted Shevchenko to win this fight, but I don't think anybody would have predicted by submission. No. At this stage now, though, she actually has more wins via submission than she does finish. A beautiful armbar. I seen the gif. I didn't see the full fight, but an absolute beaut of an armbar that it was either snap or tap. It looked at that stage, and she's now slotted in to fight Amanda Nunes. They had a bit of a standoff in the cage where I thought it was hilarious. I didn't really watch it. I watched it, but I didn't hear it. Good. And I just seen Shevchenko laughing basically at Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, no, it was actually really good. She was like, I'm gonna beat you next time, take the belt, and then she was, it was good. Watch it. Good fight. Not too much else to say. It was pretty quick.
Second round.
Pretty quick finish. But yeah, I don't think anybody would expect her to win by submission, especially off her back.
And that's the problem with Shevchenko, is that her stand-up is so good, you forget about her submissions.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And I think it was one thing we spoke about in the last show was that the last fight that Amanda Nunes and Shevchenko had, Amanda Nunes won
barely.
But in the third round,
and I think
Amanda Nunes faded.
Yeah, and
faded
I think at the
big.
time we had both picked Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
But we were watching it, and we actually discussed it. I would have been on a Sunday that time that we said, like, Jesus, if that fight had been 5 rounds, Shevchenko was taking over.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't know, people change. Amanda is a very different fighter than she was back then.
Yeah.
And so is Valentina, a very different fighter than she was back then. So we don't really know. Nobody knows what's going to happen in this fight, but, you know, it's really definitely very interesting now to watch, given the history that was there.
It was interesting in the actual fight is that Valentina, she didn't strike. You know, she was happy to stay in that clinch and for having Julia Pena pressure her, and then obviously she went for the trips. I'm wondering if that was the key of like, hey, hold on, I'm not going to waste my energy to take you down to work for the takedown and strike. I'll let you feel comfortable a little bit, give you that, you know, full sense of security. Hey, I want you to take me down. The next thing you know, boom, she puts on that armbar. And it was a sweet armbar too, because Julia Pena stepped over. We all thought she was getting out of it.
Yeah.
And then the elbow, you know, hyperextended, she tapped. You know,
yeah, that could be possible because Pena, she thrives in them scramble positions, and maybe Valentina's seeing that you know, if she gets taken down or if she gets onto the ground, Pena will just think that she can scramble with her and beat her, and she got that armbar. It was beautiful,
Smiling Simon Alvey got the win as well. Sam did it?
Simon Alvey.
No, do you know what I'm thinking? Because I'm confusing myself. I'm not confusing myself.
Because you're on your phone.
No, fuck you, Dan. You're in fucking London. I know.
That meant nothing.
But meant nothing. When he called out. And poor John Anik was caught.
Jack Marshman.
Yeah,
and everyone was like,
who?
Yeah.
Who?
Jack Marshman.
So I'll tell you what though, Sam Alvey, he's kind of
Simon Alvey,
yeah, that's his retarded brother,
his evil twin brother.
The Sam Alvey, he's changing it a little bit. Like most fighters want to go for, you know, the title shot and the gold. To me, it looks like Sam Alvey is trying to get to that. Is it like 30 fights under Reebok to make money? Because that's what it looks like at this point. So I think he's going in. I think he's going in now. I'm never going to win a title, but you know what? I'll take out all these chumps and I'll get that Reebok money.
Exactly. And the clever thing was, he was like, I put a vote out on my Twitter and this is what came back.
No way.
So, you know, that's a clever way of doing it.
Yeah,
fucking right. Fight next. You know, you guys choose, my fans choose. I think it's really clever.
That's what I tweeted though. I was like, there's nothing against Jack Marshman. He's very, very good, and he probably would be Sam Alvey, maybe it's possible. But Simon Alvey. But it was just a weird one because it was such a build up, like, and I'm gonna call this guy out, and then it was like, what?
Yeah, like you went from beating Nate Marquardt to calling out some chap and his dog. Who the fuck is that guy?
It's harsh. Imagine's a good Welsh fighter. He's
good.
Yeah,
it's just a weird one. It's just a weird one, like, because I don't think, I'd say if you got many people in that ring, about 10,000. How many of them knew who Jack Marshman was? Really, like,
I fucking don't know who Jack Marshman is. I watch the sport religiously. Like.
You covered the sport.
Special note as well, not UFC, but Diego Brandeau's, you see his
helicopter arm.
Helicopter armbar.
Helicopter arm.
If anybody doesn't know what that move is, basically you take your Mickey out.
No, you basically elevate your opponent from when they're in your guards, like butterfly hooks. Really, is it? You have your feet in the hips. You basically lift them up in the air and you turn your hips into the armbar, so they land deep in the armbar. It was absolutely.
Your favourite commentator couldn't believe it though. No, he was like, I can't believe this.
Dan's breaking out the Borat every week. This is becoming a new character.
To be fair, the guy was from Kazakhstan, money. His fighter. He's from the hometown.
Should tell you that all the time.
Dan, you're not allowed on the show unless you just do that voice constantly. So Dan, this is going to lead us into a little bit of referee knowledge. With these likes of these, seen them positions and seen them finishes. Referees, for example, like even the Herb Dean to Cerrone the other night, a lot of people thought Herb Dean waved it off. I think Masvidal thought Herb Dean waved it off. And then whatever happened, but just referees' knowledge. You brought up a clip for us just that you want to speak about, was in about referees' position and knowledge of the position and etc. So we're going to play a fight that's was from Bama 25, was it?
Correct, yes.
So it's Cameron Else against Ed Arthur. So it's from a Darce position here. So we're going to hit play.
Just slowly slide down off the screen.
So here we go.
Here we go.
So for people watching on or listening on audio,
the talk has been
Dan will
so
talk you
intense,
through it.
you've got to back.
This doesn't
Look at this
good.
interweb.
Oh, the interweb's going to go slow
Interweb's
on
going
us.
slow.
See if you can turn down
Yeah.
turn down
Yeah.
the
One
HDs.
job,
What,
Rob.
what a
One
fail. What a
job.
fail.
What's it? There's a load bar.
Get up now, and it's Else, as you said,
Well,
with the
why-
opportunity.
if you want to talk about the Herb Dean situation that happened on the weekend, a lot of people thought that he stepped in, and even myself, I thought he stepped in and waved that fight off on the basis of how Cerrone's head snapped back, and I thought that's the reason he stepped in. But again, like I always say, I'm not the referee in there. We're not in there. It could have been a delay from on our TV orders. Maybe he heard the horn before we did, but it did look like he stepped in and stopped the fight.
Yeah.
However, only he knows, and only he can tell if he was stepping in to wave the fight, if he was stepping in because the horn went. But Cerrone didn't know where he was when he was sitting on that stool. And the one thing I definitely picked up was when you had his cornerman telling him, "Look, you're not going to lose in Denver. You're not, and it's not. And that's not the way usually a cornerman talks to him." And he was just like looking at him like a blank stare. Yeah, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I thought, but there's a lot of controversy whether Herb stepped in and done it. I don't know. It is what it is.
Do you know, with these new rules, Dan, I've been able to go back over the footage of, say, there was a foul or something like that, and the referees have the option. Do you think that should extend to a strike? If you think an opponent is hurt in a corner, the referee can look at that fighter and go, his eyes are really glazed. I need to look at that strike that I think hurt him, and retrospectively call off the fight.
Before coming out for the second round?
Yeah.
Well, the referee should and can, after you saw the doctor checked him and they said, "Oh yeah, he's good to go." The referee can go up to the fighter and say to the fighter, "Are you good to go?" And you get it from the fighter's mouth as opposed to from the doctor's mouth. And if the referee don't feel like, if he looks at him and goes, "Look, man, he doesn't look right here. I'm calling off the fight." Yes, you'll get a lot of stick for it. Yes, people go, "Why are you stopping the fight?" So 9 times out of 10, you let the fight play out and see what happens. Especially, if the doctor said he's good to go. But don't forget, we can overrule the doctor's decision, whether it will be the reverse side of stuff. If the doctor wants to stop the fight, you don't have to go with the doctor. You can go against him, but you'd be stupid because if he's giving a medical, professional medical advice of doing something, you wouldn't go against it. So, I hear what you're saying, Carl. To look at a footage and go, shit, that last shot he took, end of that round was pretty serious. But who knows, within a minute, some fighters, they recover quick and they're ready to go again.
Dan, what's your thoughts on as well? Like, as in, the Herb Dean, right, a lot of people saying he should have stopped it. He was involved in another high moment as well, I believe, when Anderson Silva landed that flying knee on Michael Bisping. That was Herb Dean as well, and he was criticised for not stopping it in that case, or for, like, you said, oh no, did he stop it, did he not? So Herb sort of has that a couple of times now, but Herb is a former fighter. He's fought. He's competed. What's your thoughts on referees with the likes of? Do you feel they should have some sort of training or expertise? Even because, I know a lot of fighters would be involved, but I mean all aspects, especially of mixed martial arts. What's your thoughts on referees' knowledge? Be it, I know we can all do courses, like referees can do courses, but the actual being there, done it scenario, like I'm sure if I see something. Like, I've never competed, so if I see something where a fighter gets hit, I might think, oh, Jesus, that's it, while someone who has more experience can tell their whole defending themselves intelligently, how they're moving, that they're not rocked. There's little signals that only from being there and doing it you get. So the long-winded question I'm asking you is, do you honestly think referees should have experience themselves of being, like, fight ready in a sense?
Yeah, to a certain degree, it helps. Especially, obviously, I'm taking it, Rob. We can't get the footage up from the Bama 25.
Yeah, what we'll do is next week I'll download the files and we'll do it that way because the internet connection.
That's not a problem. So in that fight, I know we'll talk about next week, but it's the same situation as that, and even the same situation. And I'm going to go back to it, but you're not allowed to say tap now. Even when John McCarthy was refereeing Tito Ortiz and Chael Sonnen, right? Right, even that, Big John knows when, like, for example, when Tito put the choke on, and Sonnen was tapping and Tito didn't release the choke, straight away John McCarthy knew exactly where the pressure point was. Had one hand on the neck, one hand on the arm to make it safe to release Sonnen out of that choke, where Ortiz wasn't releasing when he got told to release. Whether it would be from ground and pound, you look at the fighter's eyes, see how they're reacting from a big shot, whether you should step in or shouldn't step in, or if you got a Darce choke, if you got an armbar on. I mean, when you referee a fight, if someone's got an armbar on, if the groin isn't on the elbow, on the joint, and it's on the forearm, 9 times out of 10, someone's not going to tap out of that, and you know they're quite safe. So as a position, as a referee, you stand in a different position. Whereas if the armbar is on and tight, and it's tight, for example, the main event we had on UFC, Pena versus Shevchenko, you saw Herb looking down, knowing exactly what he's looking for, and he knew that it was bang on the joint, so he had to change his position to be there ready to pull the fighter off or ready to look for that tap. So, yeah, again, long way around it. I think referees should train. Don't have to necessarily be fighters, but I would advise definitely do the grappling side of stuff, where it would be the BJJ or the wrestling, because there's more variables of way of finishing the fights, whereas boxing and kickboxing is too, less things to look out for, less variables to look out for, using your hands and your legs and your knees. Whereas on the ground, as you know, you got stuff like go-go plata, the Peruvian necktie, the gator roll, anaconda chokes, and ankle locks, leg locks. They're the different things you want to look out for. And as a referee, if you don't know what them submissions are, and you're just looking at the fighter thinking, oh, he's just throwing his leg over his ankle or over his knee to go for a reaper, you're not understanding. You can't position yourself and be ready to step in and save that fighter and keep them safe. So yeah, I do believe fighters, as much as sitting in a room learning a course, they should at least do the basics of the groundwork. It's like putting a BJJ guy to do a kickboxing match, referee a kickboxing match, when he's never done any striking. He doesn't know what he's looking out for. That's out of his world as well.
Perfect. That sums up. Apologies there to Cameron Else and Ed Archer. We're getting an appearance on obviously Fight Talk, but next week we'll get it and we'll get you to talk it through and the actual footage. So the beauty of recording with internet. So another big thing that happened this week was the Conor McGregor making big headlines with his pay-per-view interview. So it was an experience with Conor McGregor hosted by Ariel Helwani was held on Saturday night, and the headlines coming out of the event are endless. In fairness, a pay-per-view, you knew some great stuff was going to be said. So the biggest headlines and sound bites, basically, where Conor going off on Nate Diaz and basically called him a pussy and a bitch, stating that he lost all respect from after Nate's video call with Mayweather. So what I liked about what Conor said is, if I was Nate and he went, oh, you tapped Conor out, I'll finish the job and all, Conor made a great point. Diaz should have turned around and said, yeah, I'll fucking tap you out too or something, and you know what I mean, got his headline, as in, rather than just it's us against Conor, you know what I mean? It would have been a valid point, but again, it was.
Yeah, but that's not the way Nate would have thought.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He wouldn't think like that. Whereas Conor would. Conor's business. He knows how to get the media and hype going. Yeah. He's clever, you know.
Yeah.
Another one was that Conor confirmed that he's certain that a Mayweather fight will absolutely happen within the next year or so. So we did say the end of this year to start early of next year. Yeah. And it was pretty convincing the way he said it.
Yeah, it was convincing. I don't think we should get into this too much because we spoke a little bit about it earlier with Liam. So, he seemed very convinced, but I think that's what he's going to do. Like, as Carl said last week, the whole bargaining chip with Nunes. I think it's similar here. You have to sound convincing. If he doesn't sound convincing and he's saying, oh, it's absolutely going to happen, why should the UFC get worried, and why should the UFC want to negotiate certain things with him? It's just not going to happen. So is it that he's confident because he's been in talks? Maybe, but it could also be just a bargaining chip thing. You know? He
also said that in association with the UFC, where he wants shares, and then he thought, fuck, they're not doing too well at the minute, maybe they want shares in McGregor and McGregor Promotions. Conor alluded to the fact that he had it set up, he was matchmaking in his head, he had fights made out, he had a venue selected, and it was looking like last March that was going to be his big announcement. Remember he said he had a big announcement? He was going to say his big announcement was his own promotion and an event
in the O2 Arena.
He was like,
apparently they had a date booked, and because so much started happening and this kind of I can't remember if he said because of the Mayweather thing that they backed off it, but they did have a date booked in the O2 Arena, and
he said at first he said it wouldn't be to be in competition with the UFC, and then he went yet. So he was basically saying, you know, Mayweather Promotions, McGregor Promotions, and the UFC. You know, it's all one entity, one body, and I can certainly see if Conor did set up a promotion, especially here, if he was bringing top, it would sell.
I was just about to say, if Conor did set up a McGregor Promotions out of Ireland, that'd be the first proper legit mixed martial arts organisation where you're talking about a multi-millionaire backer in Conor.
That's true.
That would be amazing for Ireland. So I hope either if he does it while he's fighting or after he retires, I really hope Conor sticks to that idea, because that could be amazing for Ireland and for the UK and Europe generally.
And he's passionate about fighting as well. That's the key. He's not just a money guy who's going, hey, I've got loads of money, let me invest in this sport that's coming up. He's actually been there from the bottom, made his way up.
Another interesting fact for me was that he spoke about not getting told that and about getting belt stripped, and he said all they had to do was ask I would have defended me belt in March. His featherweight belt he was speaking of. He basically saying he's the king of the divisions, which we all say. He's a big shadow over both divisions. It's really interesting. Look, there's so much. It's on YouTube.
I think the title defence at featherweight's all talk, to be honest with you. I think it's all talk. John Kavanagh already come out and said that he has no interest in training Conor for a fight at featherweight. I think he's bullshitting. I think it's all talk.
There was a couple of things of fuck the UFC, fuck the WWE, fuck it, and he said all these sort of things.
Fuck boxing.
Yeah. So basically, then after UFC the other night, Dana White was in the press conference. And
this was like straight up gangster.
Yeah.
This comment by Dana White.
This is the quote Dana White. He said, "You know how I feel about Conor. I've always shown Conor nothing but respect, and if he wants to go down that road with us, let me tell you, it will be an epic fail."
I'm picturing Robert De Niro saying that in a gangster movie.
Goodfellas.
Yeah. But it's true, like the UFC had done this with numerous fighters where they thought they were bigger than the company, and you know, it is a dangerous path, and unless Conor was Conor would sell anywhere he goes, but for guys to fight him, you need to be fighting in the number one organisation. Like if Conor did go out, and I have no doubt a promotion, like I just said, would be hugely successful, but the problem Conor would have would be guys who are the top guys signed to the UFC, and they'd be so well contracted, and the UFC has known that their contracts are like fucking Loctite, like then you can't get out of the contracts.
Yeah, and you can also talk about Conor being able to sell against the Browne, and that is true. We spoke about that a lot, and I think he could. I don't think it really matters if you put him in against. It'll give him extra, obviously, if it's a bigger name, but I don't think it matters in terms of, you know, you're going to make profit on it, and big profit. But like Conor said it himself, he's not interested in fighting certain guys because he wants the guys that are interesting for the fans. He said that. So if it's the case where he wants the people like the Woodley because it's, you know, another title or whoever, because it's interesting for the fans, why would he want to go out and fight somebody, you know, non-name guy and stuff like that? And then why does he want to fight Floyd Mayweather? Because it's interesting for the fans. Obviously, make a huge amount of money. That's the number one thing. But it's a name. He wants to fight names. So if you're going to go out there and try fight under your own promotion, you do need a name there. You need some kind of name. There is guys out there on the scene, maybe in Bellator, who might be under like exclusive deals and stuff, but I just don't see it happen. I do think it's a bit of a pissing contest. I really
it is,
do.
and this pissing contest has been going on a long time.
Going on for a long time, and I still think
you said I'm going to get involved and piss test them both and see if I'm
very nice.
Just quickly, I'm going to throw a quick spanner in there. Floyd Mayweather apparently is doing a UK tour as well, like McGregor did, right? Sit down. Do you think McGregor will turn up at one of the...
I wouldn't be fucking surprised.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Not surprised, but
epic. Could you imagine him just standing up halfway through the crowd?
Yeah.
And he's like dressed up in disguise, all of a sudden he stands up. He's like, hey, fuck you, Mayweather, you know?
Yeah, that'd be fucking hilarious.
It would be.
Like
Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
In Rocky Street.
Actually, at the press conference. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dan, actually, I don't think that's out of the realms of possibility at all. One thing we know about Conor is that he's unpredictable.
Yeah, I could see Conor doing what's the heavyweight boxer? Come on, champ! What's his name?
Shannon Briggs.
Shannon Briggs. I could picture McGregor turning up. Did you ever see the video of Shannon Briggs when he fucking knocks Klitschko?
I think he's amazing.
But did you see the video of him knocking Klitschko off the wakeboard?
Yeah,
fucking phenomenal. What up, champ? All right, champ. Let's go, champ.
And just one more point I want to make. Who would have ever thought that MMA fighter in such as early day of his career would be doing a night like he did. He hosted a night with McGregor, and that place was
crazy.
Packed.
He went head to head with the UFC.
He's had 10 fights for the UFC.
It's insane when you look at the timeline of what Conor McGregor has risen from. It is unbelievable. Like it
really is.
There's going to be a Conor McGregor movie. I've no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Well, like about his life, or just like him in a movie?
Just a Conor McGregor story. And your man from Vikings should play him if you can put on a decent Irish accent.
Travis fucking
Ragnar Lord, whatever.
Ragnar Lodbrok.
Ragnar Lodbrok. He should be the image. He's the image of Conor.
He actually is,
he looks a bit like him.
Big time.
Depends if you could
especially
do
when you had the little slick back hair thing going on,
But look, the rise and fame. You know, obviously we've talked about Conor McGregor a whole heap on this show. But like it's to look at where he's come from to where he Ariel Helwani pointed to it, like where he was on the show and he was eating blueberries and he didn't have a pot to piss in, he said, and now look at him, like he's on stage at the press conference with a rolled in and a Rolls Royce, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's fucking gangster, like, you know. What I mean?
And if you're listening to this, I think give your opinion in the comments if you're watching it on YouTube. Will McGregor fight Mayweather ever? Because we're talking.
I'm genuinely starting to come around to that it's going to happen because
I don't think
they're all talking about it.
Yeah,
everybody's talking about it.
Everybody's talking about it, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen.
There's too many hurdles in the way of the fight. I know people said that about Mayweather.
Too many hurdles. Isn't he a champion jockey now? So he'll have to jump over them. Fucking Carl, you lined them up, I'll knock them down, mate. It's fucking working a charm here tonight.
Very nice.
American Airlines and champion Dan, I'm out of here. I'm going home. We can't get any better than this. Right, so we're going to quickly jump into the UFC. Is going down this weekend as well, and you got Dennis Bermudez is taking on the Korean Zombie in the main event. So we're just going to sort of pick out that fight. So what do we think? We're going to pick out a couple of fights. We're not going to go through the full card because time is of the essence, people. We realise you're in your cars or on your bus or on your cycles listening to this. So we're going to fly through this quickly. So what do we think of this main event and what's your thoughts on the fight itself?
I'm very excited to see the Korean Zombie back. It's been, 2-3 years?
Yeah, he was on military duty.
Yeah.
He was part of a secret hit squad to kill the North Korean chap. I just got bored halfway through that sentence. That's what
so did all the listeners.
Can't wait to see the Korean Zombie back. huge test from here against Dennis Bermudez, who's one of the better guys in the division. A guy who's always at great cardio. Will push for 3 rounds, 5 rounds in this case. But Korean Zombie, can't wait to see him back. I'm not going to pick a winner because I think it's difficult to pick when a guy is just coming back. If I had to push towards him, I'd be pushing towards Bermudez just because he's more active. But it's a great fight. I'm a big fan of the Korean Zombie.
I think it's a good fight. I think Bermudez. He's had really hard fights and he's lost, he's won, he's sort of yo-yoed in between, but
he's had good talent.
Yeah, I like Bermudez. I really do like Bermudez, and I think this is a very, very hard fight for the Korean Zombie to come back in. But like Korean Zombie's he's like exactly what his name is. He'll just keep walking you down.
I kind of would have liked to see them give him a bit of a
warm up.
Yeah, warm up. I honestly do think. I honestly do think that it's underused in MMA. I do want to see the best fight the best, but I think in the case of the Korean Zombie who hasn't fought in so long, just give him somebody who's manageable. Like I do think, he has the talent there to beat Bermudez, and I wouldn't be shocked if he does. But it's a huge test coming back after that long layoff, I think. Yeah,
Bermudez at that division 145 featherweight, like it is a very, very tough fight when you consider that at one point Bermudez was being tipped for a title shot. So
he was on a huge run.
Yeah, he was on I think at one point he was 8-0 or something. 8-9-0 run. Bermudez by no means is a slouch. He's a stud wrestler and he has power in both hands. And he's relentless, absolutely relentless. So we know that Chan Sung Young, like his grappling is very, very, it's fucking phenomenal. But it's a question of this is your atypical power wrestler. This is someone that, like Mark Coleman, he's gonna fucking smush
you're probably gonna be on your back. How are you gonna deal with that?
Exactly. So it's a very, very interesting fight. I'm looking forward to watching it.
And also the Korean Zombie is coming off, like you said, a long layoff, but also coming off loss against Jose Aldo.
Exactly.
Against TKO.
So
that got
injured as well.
How he comes back from that.
That was where he got the injury as well, wasn't it?
I believe so.
I think he popped the shoulder.
But actually, as much as I'm saying wishy-washy, Bermudez is actually on a 2-fight win streak.
Yeah, but he went off the rails for a little bit.
No, he did. I just have to say though, if you haven't looked, go onto the UFC website as well, and the opening fight, I think it's the opening fight card. Yeah, it is. You've Daniel Jolly. Look at him. He looks like when you're designing a character in a game and you put an angry face on your fighter's character. He's just he's completely mean mugging. Yeah. So other fights, like I think St. Peru needs a bit of a. What's up?
Sorry, I just looked at that picture.
Isn't he? Isn't it like if you're designing a video game?
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, St. Peru was in need of.
Try this name now.
Oven St. Peru. I just said it perfectly.
No, you don't.
Against Vulcan Astamir. This is a tough fight. Fuck it, I said it with confidence.
I give it to him.
Yeah,
That's
Vulcan.
100% right.
Astamir. Yeah. 12-1, and you know when I done this with your man Mike Perry, the blacked out guy, but he's got a knockout ratio of 75%. So Owen St. Preux needs a win after getting the big fight with John Jones. He then he was dropped heavy, folded like a deck chair, as I would say.
Folded like an envelope.
You
take your fucking envelope.
Other notable fights as well is Grasso against Herring, Alexa Grasso versus Felice Herrick. Again, a 9-0 in Mexico.
Yeah, she's a beast. I think it's a very tough fight for Felice Herrick. I don't think. I honestly don't think it's going to be close. This one, Felice Herrick.
It's a great fight though, because I get to look at Felice Herrick.
Well, that was cleaner than I thought it was going to be. I think Grasso wins this one all day.
Any notables to stand out anyway?
For me, I do like the Abel Trujillo fight against James Vick. James Vick is, he's coming up. I was never a big fan of him, but he did get a couple of wins on a streak. But Abel Trujillo is a bit of a powerhouse as well, so that could be a bit of a brawl. That could be a potential fight of the night. Not a great card, to be honest, but it's, Yeah,
well, look, as I always say this, they mightn't be all the household names, they mightn't be all the thing, but these are the hungry up-and-coming fighters, or the fighters that need to bounce back. The main event is a great fight. But yeah, like these are the hungry guys that are trying to push themselves and get themselves in the big cards.
Is that Angela Hill fight still on against Jessica Andrade?
I think so.
I think it is. Angela Hill getting back to the UFC after making a good run in Invicta. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, my under the radar has to be the Felice Herrick Alexa Grasso fight. I'm going to be white knuckled the whole time. You know what I mean? Went full creep face into the camera here, by the way.
Unbelievable. So Dan, what's up for you coming weeks? Are you on duty doing that? No, what are you doing? You just at home knocking down walls?
No, not yet. At home, chilling out with the family. Yeah, February. In a couple of weeks. That's when the events start up.
Yeah, fight season starts. You're obviously going to be joining us here in Belfast for Bama. I presume Bama 28. Is it? 27,
yes, and the Bellator, coming over. It's good. So you guys going to be there, yeah?
Yeah, once we get the media pass, and once Bama then realised that the best MC for Bama Belfast will be myself. Fuck it, I'm people are saying you're shy, but no, I'm not fucking going for the gig. So hashtag MC no for Belfast. Everybody loves a hashtag. And now look, the way I look at it, I'm going to go full Braveheart. This is my island. It's mine.
It's mine.
So I want the job. So Bama, just shit together, lads, and get on the phone to me. You know what I bring? Passion, excitement.
Desperation.
You won't find another guy who's more excited for the fights and shows it in the cage that has a microphone. So give me the microphone.
Give me the microphone.
But no, so again, the card is looking phenomenal. Unfortunately, we seen today Johnny Jitsu has pulled out his fight. He got a knee injury in training. Johnny's great. I was going to get on to Johnny to come on the show pretty soon, so we might even get him on just to talk about the injury. You know what? No, but you know what I mean. Just get him on and talk about the injury. But yeah, it's a beast of a card. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, upcoming then we've Cage Legacy will be the first MMA show here on the 11th of February. That's going down in Drogheda, and the TLT Theatre in Drogheda. Great night. The lads putting on a great show there, and it's the amateur show, so that's where it all started from. So check them out again with us this time next week. If you're wondering on Tuesday why isn't obviously Fight Talk on it, my life is not complete because obviously Fight Talk are not on. Rob's gone away, so as we always say, Mr. Dependable isn't here, so the show shuts down because Rob does literally everything. We call him One Job Rob.
So literally, because Rob isn't here, we're the two retards.
Fucked.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Rob edits. He does everything.
Yeah.
In fairness, me and Carl are the talent. So that's
Where you going, Rob?
I'm going to Poland.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, a couple of days.
Yeah, it is cool. It's pretty
Go
cold
to the,
over there at the moment.
Auschwitz and stuff, yeah.
Going to Auschwitz.
Yeah,
now.
it's going to be... Yeah. Shut up, Carl.
No, I didn't say anything.
Literally, as we said Auschwitz, everything just went... Carl.
I didn't even say
No,
it.
he's gone off to work on his concentration. Fuck no.
Our 2 Jewish subscribers have just unsubscribed.
Yeah. No, I actually want to go to Poland pretty soon as well.
Yeah.
Something like,
Can't wait for it.
Yeah.
But we'll be back on...
Part of history.
We'll
So yeah, next
Wednesday.
next Wednesday we'll be recording again. Unfortunately, we
Well,
had
we
a guest
record on
lined.
Tuesday.
Yeah, we're recording Tuesday.
Out on
Unfortunately, we had a
Wednesday.
guest lined up. Unfortunately, due to some circumstances, the guest unfortunately had to pull out. That sounds like an injury.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, with people's time schedules and stuff get conflicted, so unfortunately we couldn't do that. So hope to arrange somebody else. So again, @talk_fight on the Twitter machine. Check us out. Obviously, Fight Talk on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere else. If you like what you hear, give it a share, give it a like, tell your friends. That's how it gets out there. Thanks to MMAmix.com for all your MMA news stories. Check them out. They're obviously good.
Because we've
obviously Fight Talk.
And to Fightstore Ireland for all your fighters' needs under one roof, the Fighter's Choice. We got to get in and thank the lads. It's great having Liam and Alistair coming on with us.
Yeah.
We've been guest heavy, so that's why Alistair hasn't been on with us. So hopefully Alistair will be back on soon. But great work again. Fightstore Media as well. Check them out for all the latest stories of Irish Muay Thai, boxing, MMA. They cover it all. Check them out. They're fantastic. So lads, say your good night. So Dan, thanks again as always.
Thanks for having me, gents. Appreciate that.
Carl.
Good night. Thanks.
And Rupert. Until next week, and enjoy Poland. Safe
I will
journeys.
do. Thank you.
And I've been Nolan. This has been obviously Fight Talk 52.